Greece and Afghanistan. What do they have in common? Now at first it seems like the only thing these two have in common is that they're both countries and having a language that is if Hindi, Russian and Arabic was mixed together.
पठान भाई के पास जाते हैं चाय पीने के लिए तो मैंने उनसे पूछा और मैंने अपने
But despite being clearly nothing alike, these two countries actually have something in common. They have, at one time or another, have at least one Greek person who lived there. Yes, there were Greeks in Afghanistan. Keyword, were. And so, that's what I'm gonna talk about. And yeah, that's enough the intro. Let us begin. Okay, of course, today in Afghanistan, there are no more Greek people. However, 2,000 years ago, there were. But still, why were there Greeks in Afghanistan? Greece is more than 3,000 kilometers away from Afghanistan. That is far away even in today's standards, let alone ancient ones. So, why did some ancient Greeks decide to choose to live in faraway Afghanistan rather than, say, Cyprus or Turkey, which is much closer? Well, like everything in history, we can blame Napoleon of the ancient world, aka Alexander the Great. In 334 before Christ, Alexander decided that the Persian Empire was kinda cringe at this point, and so, along with his Macedonians and Greeks, he began his conquest of the Persian Empire. He was successful in multiple battles against the Persians and even took Egypt, founding the city of Alexandria. His most famous battle, Gaugamela in 331 BC, ultimately defeated the Persian king Darius, and after that, Alexander began his long and arduous march to the east, and one of the places he went to was Bactria, which is a region in what's now Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. There, Alexander decided the world didn't have enough cities named after him, and founded multiple Alexandrias in the region. Fun fact, the name of the city of Kandahar came from a rendered version of Alexander, which became Iskandar, which became Skandar, which became Kandar, which became Kandahar. Now, surprisingly, in Bactria, there were already a population of Greeks living there for centuries before Alexander. These Greeks were originally exiles, as the Persians would often send rebelling Greeks to faraway eastern provinces. But hey, at least they didn't send them to the Gulag or something. Anyways, back to Alexander. Alexander then reached the edge of the world in India and returned to Babylonia so he can die. After his death, Bactria would fall to Alexander's general Seleucus in the ensuing Diadochi Wars. Alexander's death would also mark the start of the Hellenistic period, as Greek culture and influence spread across his former empire, and Greek settlers began to settle across his empire as well, including to Bactria, mainly in the cities founded by Alexander, and they began to intermarry with the local Bactrian population. But why? Why move over there to Bactria with a completely different terrain, climate, and environment to Greece when you can instead move much closer to home, like right here? Well, you see, Bactria just so happens to exist at the crossroads between China, India, and Persia, so the region must have seen a bunch of trade and goods passing through. Goods, by the way, are just another name for item. I don't know why they didn't just name it that, but okay. And as a result, a lot of traders got very rich by selling goods from China, India, and Persia, which made controlling Bactria very important for many kingdoms and empires. And because of this, Bactria became a major center for trade, and became one of the most wealthiest regions in the ancient world, even getting the title, the land of 1,000 cities, because of its immense wealth and urbanization. And this immense wealth made it a highly attractive place for many Greeks to settle to. Everyone wants to have a better life, it's natural, right? So it's no surprise that some people are willing to travel thousands of kilometers to get rich or not. So then, what happened to the Greeks in Bactria or Afghanistan? After all, they are no more today. Well, by around 250 BC, the Greeks living in Bactria had won their independence against the Seleucid Empire, and under King Theodotus I, established the creatively named Greco-Bactrian Kingdom. Bro, they couldn't name it anything else. The Greco-Bactrian Kingdom continued to be the center for trade and exchange between West and East. Greek culture fused with Bactrian and Indian culture, triggering a golden age in architecture, art, and religion. And in the 180s BC, under King Demetrius I, what a name, the Greco-Bactrian Kingdom reached its greatest height, stretching from modern Uzbekistan to parts of northern India. However, following this, the Greco-Bactrian Kingdom was split in two, with the also creatively named Indo-Greek Kingdom in the south, and with the remaining Greco-Bactrian Kingdom in the north, centered around the city of Balkh in Afghanistan. The most famous Indo-Greek king was Menander I, who was notable for his conversion to Buddhism, recorded in the Milinda Panha, where Menander interrogated quizzed a Buddhist monk about the religion. Soon, a form of Buddhism called Greco-Buddhism was formed, and Buddhism became the second religion of the Indo-Greek kingdom, alongside Greek polytheism, of course. The Indo-Greek kingdom would endure up until its decline beginning in the 1st century BC, when a tribe known as the USG invaded Bactria, destroying the Greco-Bactrian kingdom and pushing away the Indo-Greek kingdom. Over the decades, the Indo-Greek kingdom would lose territory to the Scythians and the many Indian kingdoms to the east, and the last Indo-Greek king, Strato III, would fall in 10 AD, making his kingdom the last independent Greek state in the entire world. However, despite this, Greek culture continued to flourish under the successor Kushan Empire, and Greek was the official language of the Kushans until around 130 AD. While Greek presence in Afghanistan was quite short-lived, its legacy continues to this day. And with that, that's the story of Greeks who live in Afghanistan, who then became Buddhists. I know, very random, am I right? Thanks for watching, and please subscribe because we're trying to get 100 subscribers. I'm not kidding, by the way. And yeah, that's really it. Bye.